What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be breaking down this exact image ad, why it's been active for months now, why it's making money, printing money, and how you can replicate the success of this ad for your own brand. And for me, it's super important that you understand it, okay? So this is from this brand right here. This is not my brand. I just found it, came across it recently by doing a little bit of research, creative research basically, to get inspiration. And then I found this brand right here, and I think their marketing is very creative. I actually came across their stuff a while back, and then I've been following them ever since. I'm just passing them on to you, and the reason why I've just added them into my creative inspiration folder on my browser is because I just think they're doing some things super well, and specifically with image ads. And so this video is going to be about image ads. This video is going to be about how to properly test hooks, and then how to properly pick the right awareness level for the ads, and then how you can really make ads like this that are running for months. As you can see, this one's been started since March 1st, right? So it's been running for months now, right? So if you look at this ad, it's very simple. There's no features, there's no benefits, no call to action, there's absolutely nothing, no explanation. It's a super random, it looks like a screenshot. The visual looks like a screenshot of a video, and then her holding the products basically. It's not AI, it's very realistic. You can see it's a real person, and the text just says, "For when your legs hurt." Okay, that's all this text really says, and that's the entire image ad, right? That's pretty much it. You can see the ad text. So we have a little bit of scarcity, we have a little bit of explanation of what the product really is, we have a little bit of like benefits and features, and then we have an offer focused headline and a very salesy shop now call to action. So okay, the ad text, fair enough, does all the selling. However, the image ad works really well because of two things here. First of all, it scales, and it's been running for months and months and months because it actually speaks to almost the most unaware awareness level there is out there. And so if you guys know this already, but every single ad of yours has to be categorized, or can be categorized in 5 different steps, 5 different levels of awareness that they speak to. So most aware people, right, which is like the smallest audience in every market that there is out there, are people that already know that they want the product. There's not a lot of marketing involved. When you convince a most aware person, you don't do a lot of marketing. You don't do a lot of convincing in the first place. It's just like reminding more. That's what I would call it, right? Product aware, pretty much the same thing. The only difference between a most aware and a product aware person is a product aware person is comparing you to other competitors selling the same solution, selling the same product. Okay, solution aware people, right, are people that maybe have tried other solutions, other products to solve this issue before. They're not on the level of just comparing offers of competitors. No, they're on the level of comparing solutions, right? And so you got to keep in mind, the more unaware you go, solution aware people, for example, are a lot bigger audience size, and therefore if you have an ad which works in that stage, it scales a lot higher than a product aware ad. And then problem aware is even bigger because those people have no clue how to solve their problems, right? And then unaware would be the biggest. Now this image ad specifically is problem aware. Why? Because look at the text here, "For when your legs hurt." Okay, obviously no one that's super unaware is going to resonate with this, but at the same time, everyone who has leg pain, right, is going to resonate with this. They're going to see this and they're going to think, okay, well, cool, this is actually pretty aggressive call out, pretty big claim, right? Super interesting picture. I don't really know what's going on. It's kind of a pattern interrupt because this does not look like your usual image ad, and this is the first thing you can take from this. Pattern interrupts are the most important part of every paid ad that I've ever looked at. It's like in every time it's in my winning variables spreadsheet. And so what I would recommend to you guys to do is actually pick an awareness level that you want to speak to. Obviously pick the one where most of your customers are located in. And so what you're going to do after that is you're going to open up a document and you're going to start writing down hooks. And this is called the hook test. So what you do basically after that is you open up a doc, right? You make these hooks, you write these down in the awareness level that most of our customers are in, and then you put them on image ads that look like this. These are going to be image ads with no visual, one by one, no visual, right? And when you upload them into your ad account, what you're going to do is no call to action, no primary text, no headline, no description, right? Call to action is going to be learn more or something, right? So the point of the hook test is that our hit rates on the actual creatives, then when we start testing real creatives, are a lot higher. And this is a big problem for a lot of you guys out there, the hit rates on your ads. A lot of you guys are testing a lot, but still nothing hits. And this is exactly what's going to increase your hit rates. It's actually when you test hooks first, you spend like $2 to $3 each image, and then you put those on the actual creative. So on the actual image ads, on the actual video ads, whatever you make. And specifically this case, what you could do is, or what this brand could do is write similar problem aware hooks and test it on this visual, test it like this first, right? And then put the winners on also this visual. And then also the cool part is other visuals, because in an image ad, you have to understand and imagine there's only two things that could potentially go wrong. It's the hook and it's the visual, right? And if you've tested the hook itself or the headline, right, isolated in an image ad like this, and it works, it's getting you good click-through rates, good CTRs, and then you move it on and then it doesn't work anymore, then you know it's the visual and nothing else but the actual visual. And that's the cool part, because then you know exactly what to make iterations on. So a big thing which a lot of people struggle with when they move on stuff from the hook test to the actual image ad test is, a lot of people, for example, forget like, okay, well, if I have a problem aware hook, right, a problem aware ad, then I'm also going to have to show a problem based, or at least an outcome based type of, a visual, right? A lot of people start to, especially with supplements, you see these like AI mock-up stuff, and then it's like a super unaware hook or a super problem-aware hook, and then people put a super product-focused visual on it. It doesn't work like that, because it doesn't speak to the same, it doesn't resonate with the same audiences of people. The hook actually would technically speak to super unaware people or super problem aware people, whereas the visual in a lot of the cases actually speaks to very aware, maybe product aware, most aware people. So you have to make the two match each other. This is actually crucial. And in this case, they do it really, really well, because as you can see here, we have a problem aware hook, and we have like more or less like a solution aware or problem aware, maybe even unaware, because it's a super random picture visual. And this fits each other very, very, very well, right? And so this is really what you have to keep in mind. Now, obviously, this is really important too. The added text, and this is like what everyone says, oh, they don't matter, ad copy doesn't matter, whatever. Yes, it's not going to make or break your stuff. However, you have to understand that when you're running image ads, right, and there's significantly fewer variables to an image ad than to a video ad, then every other variable gets significantly more important. And so specifically, we're talking about ad copy when it comes to primary text, headline, description, and call to action. These things get significantly more important whenever you only have one frame. The more unaware it is also, the less text is on the image ad, the more important all these things get. So for example, this is also the reason why on the hook test, we don't put any of these things, any of these ad texts. Why? Because they would be super important, right? We only have text on this, and that's the only variable that we want to test. That's the whole point of the hook test, that we have all the data on these isolated in its own campaign, right? Really, really important. So you have to keep in mind to obviously also test a bunch of different ad copies once you have a creative which shows potential. And then you put all this into a spreadsheet called the winning variables spreadsheet. Winning variables spreadsheet, very simple. You just open up an Excel sheet, right? Write down everything that you want to remember. For example, primary text, headline, description, call to action, hook of the image ad, visual, right? Awareness level. If it's a video ad, length of the ad, and then every metric that you got from them, right? So CTR, if it's a video ad, hook rate, drop off. We have the pitch rate, right? And obviously the CPA, the cost per ad to cart. You write down everything you can imagine, and you start consistently building up that data of having these winning variables all at one place. Now, what this is going to do after a lot of time is, if you just have a huge Excel sheet of all the variables that you just could plug, play together, just throw together, and then essentially just have a cool winning ad, obviously that's the main goal of everyone. And you're going to actually get closer to that main goal, to the end goal, by having a longer and longer winning variable sheet. And that only comes from testing, and then after every test, consistently updating the winning variables spreadsheet. So keep this in mind, guys. Never forget about this. Like, this is actually a crucial step in this process. And I would say go ahead and execute on this. Really important part about this video, I'm not, bullshitting you guys like every other guru is, I would say. because I'm actually telling you guys to actually execute this. You have to do this, right? You don't need information. You don't need a course right now. What you need to do is actually execute this into your business, into your ad account. Let's make a deal. If it works, then you come back and you like the video. All right. I want to say thank you so much for giving your most important asset, which is your attention. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you a beautiful day.